everybody, welcome back to Whiskey Central. If you're new here, my name is Shayla, and today we're reviewing Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C920. Also, I got a little dental procedure done, so I have stitches like on my gums. So if my face looks weird, or if you see like little stitches, that's why. That's what we got going on. But gotta get these reviews out for you guys, so doing 2 reviews today, even though I got stitches in my mouth. Let's go. So there's no history today, but if you want to skip around to other parts of the video, there's timestamps in the description box below. And if you enjoy whiskey reviews, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new videos. And before we get into the review, just wanted to give a quick Patreon shout out to Jeffrey Whack. So I covered most of the Elijah Craig history in my Elijah Craig small batch review. I will link it in a card up here, but basically all you need to know for this one is they have 3 releases every single year: an A batch in January, a B batch in May, and a C batch in September. So mine is C920, Elijah Craig C920, so it's the 3rd batch of the year, September the year 2020. The new A121 batch is out now. Alright, so let's get into the details of this whiskey. The MSRP on this bottle is about $60, but it'll cost you quite a bit more than that if you can find it. It's made by Heaven Hill, and it's located in Bardstown, Kentucky. It's 12 years old, 66.4% ABV, and the mash bill is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. It's aged in level 3 charred oak barrels. It's non-colored, and it's non-chill filtered. Alright, well, I'm going to pour a dram of this, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
So when I'm reviewing a whiskey, I like to add a couple of drops of water to it. It just kind of helps it open it up a little bit for me, personally. Some people don't like water in their whiskey, some do. The beautiful thing about this is it's 66%, but you don't have to drink it neat if you don't want to. You can add a bunch of water, drop it down to 40%, you can drop it down to 45 or 50 or 55. Just depends on your preference. I like to add a little bit of water because the alcohol carries the flavor, but it also desensitizes your palate a little bit, especially at a really high proof like this. So I like to drop it down just a little bit so I'm getting a lot of those flavors, but it's not desensitizing my palate as much. So with that being said, I'm going to add some water to this whiskey and then we'll get into the nose. Alright, I've let this open up for about 10 minutes. Let's go in the nose. So I think I added water, but when you don't add water, it kind of punches you in the face. It's like a really intense nose. With the water, it's calmed down just a little bit, but it's still got kind of that boldness and richness of flavors. So the cool thing about this whiskey is it's a little bit salty, like it smells a little bit salty. There's quite a bit of cinnamon on here, quite a bit of oak as well, like that oak kind of cask influence is really prevalent. And then there's quite a bit of fruitiness on here as well. I get like baked apples. That might be kind of the cinnamon reminding me of baked apples, but I get baked apples, quite a bit of orange, maybe just a little bit of cherry. And then there's not much rye in this mash bill. I think it's only 10%, but I'm getting this kind of herbally grass mint thing. I have no idea. A little bit of that rye spice, maybe just a little bit of black pepper as well. And then my favorite, the wonderful vanilla caramel. This one is kind of playing more like maple syrup. And then there's a little bit of maybe like a tobacco leathery kind of thing. Tobacco leathery? I don't know. Alright, let's go for a sip. Cheers, guys. Even with the water that I added, it's super intense. Getting a Kentucky hug for sure. There's a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of black pepper at the end. Let's go for another sip. Cheers. So it starts off sweet, then you get kind of a little bit of oak kind of right up the middle of your palate. I'd say long finish. It's got a really nice texture, non-chill filtered, and high ABV is going to do that. I think for me personally, this is just maybe a little bit oaky, like in terms of balance, it's just a little bit oaky. I think for most bourbon drinkers, this is super well balanced, but for me personally, just maybe a little bit too much oak, but that being said, this is absolutely wonderful, so I'm going to finish this dram up and I'll be right back with my recommendation. This is the best bourbon I have had by far. It's absolutely wonderful. Cannot say enough good things about it. Thank you, Thrasher, for sending this to me. It's an absolute peach. The only problem with it, though, is that it's pretty hard to find, and if you do find it, you're probably going to be paying well over MSRP for it, so I have a list of a couple of easier to find options. Wild Turkey Rare Breed has some similar tasting notes, and it is a lower proof at 54%, but it's pretty easy to find and is only around $45 to $50. Knob Creek 9-year single barrel reserve is also a wonderful option. It is going to taste, I don't know, it's got a different taste profile than Elijah Craig, but it packs a punch at 120 proof and it's only around $50 to $55. Larceny Barrel Proof might be a good option for you. It's from the Heaven Hill Distillery like Elijah Craig, but it's a wheater, so the profile is definitely going to be different, but it's barrel proof and it might be easier for you to find. Of course, there are bottles like Stag Jr., which would be right up your alley if you can find them, but probably going to be even harder to find than Elijah Craig, but if you see one, pick it up. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Whiskey Central. Next week, I'll be reviewing GlenDronach 12, so if you don't want to miss out, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, leave it a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Are we recording? Yeah. That was so awkward. Okay. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but the esters, it'll kind of create this little milky, cloudy effect. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. I can see it a little bit. I don't think you guys will be able to, but those kind of nice smells and things are kind of being trapped by alcohol. And so when you add water, those kind of compounds will kind of get released from the alcohol and you can kind of smell them better.